Yeah. So let me tell you about my week. The Bruins in the second round of the postseason, of course, winning that game 7 over the Maple Leafs, and then winning game 1 of the series in Florida, and we're off and running. Here we go. And then game 2 happens where things got crazy. The fighting in the third period, Pastrnak dropping the gloves
Yeah.
with Matt Tkachuk. Pat Maroon. I mean, game misconducts being tossed out like M&Ms, like just crazy stuff. So that set the stage for game 3 in Boston. And little did we know that would be a huge turning point in the series because of the fact that Brad Marchand got taken out by Sam Bennett. So Sam Bennett had missed every playoff game. So basically, he got hurt in game 2 of the series against the Lightning. He hadn't played since, rejoined the series game 3 against the Bruins. And this was the same thing that happened last year where he was out and then joined the series in progress for game 2. The Panthers ended up winning that game. We know how that series turned out. And then he joins the series here in Boston. And this is a guy who's a physical player. Yeah, he's got skill offensively, but really known for his physicality. And then in the first period, lays a hit on Brad Marchand, and you could see. So I'm up on the 9th floor. Nesson doesn't have the games; it's a national broadcast. So me, Andy Brickley, watching this game from the 9th floor, we see Marchand's getting up slow, but he gets back up and goes back into the game. And then, I was hosting the pregame show. Sophia actually did the first half hour on the 5th floor, our usual spot, but because it's a national broadcast, we can't shoot the ice from 30 minutes before the game leading up to puck drop. So we kick it back up to the 9th floor, and it's me and Brick. And so we finished out the pregame show. I had a game 3, and then we do the intermission report. And, Marchand had gotten hit already, and, the Bruins were trailing 1-0. We're talking about that. And then Brick adds, and we saw Marchand get up slowly. We'll have to watch that moving forward. Then he doesn't come out in the third, and nobody really knew what was going on. And then all of a sudden, you start looking at the video a little more closely, and you can see Bennett on one camera angle. You can kind of see the fist come in, and he kind of winds up a little bit and hits Marchand in the face, but it's not super definitive, right? So then we get the news that Marchand's out. We're like, wow, all right, so he's out game 4. So we're doing the pregame show on Sunday ahead of game 4, and the video drops from the reverse angle. And you can clearly see Bennett right in the face. Brick hadn't seen it. He's watching. He's stunned. The league took no action. The league took no action in terms of suspension, in terms of fines. Nothing. Meanwhile, the Bruins captain is out. And so let me rewind a little bit to morning skate, right? Before that video dropped to the public, but clearly, team saw it, right? Bruins saw it. They saw that angle first. Players saw that angle first. So we're asking Jim Montgomery about it, and he's answering, we have our view of this situation. He can't go out there and say, they missed a call. This guy should be suspended, right? They can't do that. We go into the room, talk to Trent Frederick and Pavel Zacha, and these guys are ticked off. They're ticked off. And, they want to retaliate. They want to retaliate. This is their captain. This is their leader. This is their best player. And he's not going to be on the ice. And they can't really do that, though, right? Because it's it's the playoffs. It's the playoffs. You can't, go in the penalty box, give the Panthers an opportunity because, they'll go on the power play and that puts you, obviously in a tough spot. And so I was wondering, as a player, it's just man, you got to toe that line and that must be really difficult. So there's all of that stuff. And then you get into the game, the Bruins take a 2-0 lead. Panthers come back. It's 2-1. And then on the power play, it's Bennett again. It's that guy again in front of the net. He cross-checks Charlie Coyle into Jeremy Swayman, knocks Swayman over, open net. Bennett
He couldn't play his
scores to tie
position.
the game up at 2, right? And so the Bruins challenged the play, right? And so in a challenge situation, if you lose the challenge, the other team goes on the power play. So it's you got to be sure, right? You got to be sure. It's like, all right, we're going to challenge this, but we're 100, we're close to 100% sure. And so, they kick it back, to the situation room, right? So that's who's viewing this play
In Toronto.
And the call on the ice stands, and
They said the
people
goal is
are
good.
losing their minds,
Is
losing
this
their
before or after they
minds.
threw the rats on the ice?
That happened in game 3. That happened in
Okay.
game 3 after Jacob Lauko got called for interference running into the goalie. But even in that situation, it's like he was pushed. He was pushing the goalie, and so anyway, officiating's been tough in this series. It's been frustrating, and we're all reading the rule, that talks about goaltender interference and this specific play in particular. And Sophia is actually the one that forwarded to us. It was from the league. If a defending player has been pushed, shoved, fouled by an attacking player so as to cause defending player to come into contact with his own goalkeeper, such contact shall be deemed contact initiated by the attacking player for purposes of this rule, and if necessary, a penalty assessed to the attacking player if a goal is scored, and it would be disallowed. The league's argument is that that hit didn't prevent Jeremy Swayman from playing his position.
I don't know how they see that. They watch that, and I don't know how they see that. And I'm not a hockey guy, but it's clear as day to me.
I know. So
it's
fans, as you might expect, we're on the 9th floor. We did the pregame, we did the intermissions, and then we do the first 5 minutes of the postgame show from the 9th floor. And after that, I got to get downstairs to the room and get some interviews. And on the way down, you run into fans, and outside of being ticked off, the Bruins lost, placing blame pie on this player or that player or whoever, or coaches, right, which fans do, right, and they're entitled to do that. It's all about the league. It's all about Sam Bennett. It's amazing how things have unfolded over the past couple of days. So that's been my week. Having to to try and figure that out. It's been wild, and now they find themselves in a 3-1 hole. So anyway,
that's put them at disadvantage.
Yeah. Yep. So.